Wrong button.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Ark Survival Ascended, and this is a beginner's guide teaching you how to jump into the game, how to play the game, and actually how to kind of set up your own game. So if you're looking to join one of the public servers or a server of a friend, how you do that is you go through join game right here. This will populate, and then you will be able to find out which wherever server you want to go through here. You can go through official or unofficial, non-dedicated, all sorts of ones through there. But we're not going to be covering that because we're actually going to be teaching you how to play the game instead of going through that. So let's click back through here. All right, so now back on this list, what you want to do is you want to go through create or save game. Now you'll notice there's going to be a whole bunch of maps here for you. These ones right here will probably not be listed. Here, let me show you how to get these. All right, over on the Ark Survival Ascended Steam page, also in the PlayStation Store and also the Xbox Store, you can get it here. All the different maps. Matter of fact, I would recommend while you are here, taking a look at these things when you're just starting out, that you would grab the Valgero, the Ragnarok, and then all the other free maps that are available for you, just so you have these available depending on your storage space. They will take up quite a bit of storage, but Ragnarok especially, we're going to be covering that one pretty extensively in this video, because as a beginner with Ragnarok being released in the game, I would recommend people actually start out on Ragnarok as opposed to any other map. I would recommend that if you are starting out in the game, that you start out either on the island, which is the original base game of the game, or on Ragnarok. Now, what I mean by the base game, because all these are now in the game, but the entire game itself is the island, while all the other ones are expansions for the island. So all the original stuff is going to be on the island, but some really cool play experiences are going to be done on the other ones. And with Ragnarok being free, I think what we're going to be doing, we're going to be jumping into a free version of Ragnarok to do the beginner's guide, because there is a really easy way to get new players started, and in a very exciting way as well to get you kind of into your land of dinosaurs. It's actually really cool. All right, now with that being said, let's jump into a fresh Ragnarok playthrough. Now you'll notice there's a bunch of mod settings and stuff like that, and I will have a couple things on my screen that are completely modded, but I'm going to explain that right now. So the mod I'm using in this beginner's guide is called Pull It, and how you get that is you go through, you get the mod section right here, and all you do is just type in Pull It, and we'll punch up right here, and it's this one right there. If you are interested in using this, I'll show you exactly what that does in the middle of this, just where you're not confused by some of the things that we're actually doing. So let's jump in and let's start up a fresh single-player game so I can show you guys exactly one of the best ways of starting out, just so where you can jump into the game, get your feet wet, and, tame your first dinosaur, and move on into a pretty dang good playthrough. All right, so, yeah, just remember that when it comes around to Ark, one of the worst things you can do is get locked in and be like, this cloth armor I've been working on for the last 2 minutes is dear to me. I need to absolutely stop whatever I'm doing and go recover that corpse. Ark is not that kind of game. Save that for the later game when you have really expensive stuff that you need to get back. In the beginning of the game, if you jump in and you die, which is very common, just move on to a different place and find another spot that is actually easier for you to get situated, because getting hard locked in on, I like that spot, or I can't believe that aloe came up and ate my face. Just move on. Trust me. It's a lot better for you. It's a lot better for your dodo buddies. It's a lot better for everything. Remember, this is a land of dinosaurs. They come with sharp, pointy teeth that like to eat you. So yeah, that's one of the downsides to playing in a land of dinosaurs. All right, make sure that when you are done setting up your character, that you're ready to go. But once you are done, make sure you name them and then click create. Now here we are introduced to a whole bunch of different places. Now, when it comes around to Ragnarok, this is one of the reasons why I recommend it for new players, is because in a lot of the different maps, you'll start off with ones that say easy, medium, and hard, when actually they are hard, harder, and hardest. With Ragnarok, when they say easy, they mean easy. There is quite a few different spots on here where, you know, it's going to be much easier for you to spawn, but also a couple spots where it's like where they say easy when it's a little dicey. That's it, instead of the hard, harder, and hardest. I would recommend for first-time players, definitely start off up here in the Highlands. The Highlands is a really, really good spot to start off with. Another good spot is over here in Viking Bay, where they call it jungle. Yeah, so you know, right here, Viking Bay 1, 2, and 3. The jungle is a little bit harder, not too much, but when you get first started, but when you start needing those additional resources, then it starts getting a little bit harder. Viking Bay is actually pretty good, but there are the occasional alpha that comes in. Down here is actually pretty decent when it comes around to it, but if you start off down here in these two spots down here in the southwest 2 and 3, I would recommend trying to get out onto these islands as quick as possible, and you will have a really easy playthrough just to kind of get yourself situated. But for this this video, we're actually going to be starting up here in Highlands, just because I like the Highlands, and Highlands gets you situated really, really well for your playthrough. Opening music never gets old. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so when you start off up here in the Highlands, you're going to be cold to start. So what you're going to want to do is run around, grab a couple stones, and immediately jump over into here and start picking yourself a few of these bushes. Now, the stones, you'll notice there's stones just all over the ground. If you don't see any stones when you press your use button and start clicking and start picking these things up, then I would recommend just keep moving down the beach. Don't sprint or anything like that. And sprint is used either via your controller side button or shift on the keyboard. But instead of sprinting down, I would recommend just going down until you see stuff like this and seeing if there is actually a rock here. If you don't see a rock there, then just keep moving on a little bit. Also, check the little bits of the water if there is any around you, because chances are there could be a rock in there as well. All right, so now that we've got some fiber out of these bushes, then I'm going to take and then I'm going to open up this right here and see this right as we level up, as we get XP, we're going to be given levels. Now, what we do with these levels is very dependent on how we want to play. The first thing is, well, here, let me back up and tell you what all these stats are. Health is your health, how long you can live. You start off with 100. When this reaches 0, you become dead. Congratulations. Stamina. This is how far you could run. So every just second that you're running, this uses a certain amount of stamina. And when you run out, then you become slightly winded for a little bit. Then you can start sprinting again as you regenerate stamina. Oxygen, this is how long you can hold your breath. Food, this is how much food you can hold. You have in you. I would recommend when you get a little bit higher level, actually keeping this around this part right here. If you go all the way down, you'll starve to death. But if you go all the way up, you won't regenerate as much as you're feeding. But if you stayed on this, whenever you eat cooked meat in this game, you will get a little bit of healing. So make sure that you keep your food right around here, so where if you get hit and you need that extra little bit of healing, it'll boost you up just a little bit to about right here. Sometimes it'll boost you up a little bit in health, so where you can get a little bit extra healing. So yeah. Water, this right here, just keep full all the time. This is how much water you have. Weight, this is how much weight you're carrying. All these berries and stones and stuff in my inventory, these are currently weighing 16.3. All right, melee damage. This is how much melee damage you use, although this is percentage based. So, say if we have a punch that does 5 damage, we'll have to raise this up to 120% before it actually does 6. But but this gets magnified a lot whenever we start using things like swords and such like that, picks, pikes, metals, just regular wooden spears, stuff like that. They have a larger base damage, so where this actually goes up quite a bit on those. Crafting skill, this is whenever you craft something from a blueprint that you loot in the world, it will actually raise up the quality of that. It has nothing to do with these right here. These right here are always going to be primitive crafts, no matter what you do. But the looted blueprints that you will get later on in the game, these affect the crafting skill affects that. All right, the fortitude. This is how well you endure the elements, based on your cold resist and your heat resist right here. So armor and fortitude works hand in hand with cold resist and heat resist. It's all a mathematical formula to figure it out. I would recommend, if you're in a place like this where it's really cold, put a couple of points into fortitude, but right now we really don't need it. Right now we just need to work on armor and such like that. I'm actually going to give myself a little bit of weight because I'm going to be gathering a bunch of stuff. So I want to be able to hold all the stuff that I'm gathering. Now that I've done that, you start off with 3 engrams up here. You start off with the note, the stone pick, and the torch. The note you will rarely ever use. You really only will use that when you're talking to your friends, leaving little funny notes, or if you're crafting custom recipes way later in the game. Don't even worry about the note unless you really want a note carried in your inventory, but that's on you. All right. Stone pick, this is absolutely vital, and also so is the torch. But for now, we're actually going to get the hatchet, and we're going to get the spear, and we're not going to worry about a campfire right yet because we need to worry about living, and we got another level. So now we can immediately go get the cloth shirt and the cloth pants and the cloth hat. The reason why I recommend these is because if you notice in the crafting requirements, it takes 50 fiber to craft these, and these ones right here actually take hide added to it. 6 hide and 4 hide respectively for these. So get the ones that only require fiber because we can craft them right now and we don't have to worry about anything else. So let's craft those up. And notice the number up here, the shield and the number. This means that it has an armor effect on it, and it has a 10 armor right next to it. So we'll just equip these by clicking on them. You can also equip these by clicking on them and dragging them over as well. And then if you want to turn off, if you really enjoy your hairstyle and you want this, you want to be able to see it, or you use this, click up the emote wheel. And then when you have it over like this, all you do is hold the bracket and then signify like that. But if you have it like that, all you do is just where you can hotkey it right through there. While that window is open, all you do is whichever key you want. Me, it's the right bracket on the keyboard. All right, so now we have our wonderful lock showing. Now we're going to go and we're going to craft ourselves a pick. All right, so the pick, we're going to want a little bit of wood. Now, on the beach here on Ragnarok, the wood is a little bit scattered. So normally you would go and you would punch the tree and stuff, but now you just got to punch a little bit of driftwood here. It's fine. It works just good, see? You get this. Also, you'll notice that we get this stuff right here that pops up every once in a while when you do something and you're like, what is that? Well, if you have the Lost Colony expansion pass, it will actually, or the Bob's Tall Tales, it will actually have this window way up here. You can earn different things through here, and then via this you'll get points that you can spend on this tree right here. I would encourage you, take a look all the way around this, just so where you can get kind of figured out exactly what builds you want to go down. Honestly, for me, I actually prefer the bonded taming with the beastie entourage. This way here, you can actually whistle smaller things to just follow you. And then also I prefer right up here on hot blood, all the way here to poison specialist. So where our torpor does more damage, and then up through here because I really like range combat in this game. So where this right here means that when I want to be knocking things out, I actually call this like the hardcore tamer build. So where you could just get a whole bunch of tames really easily, and knocking things out like gigas later in the game is a lot easier with that build. All right, so that's what that is. But now that we've got this, let's go through here and let's click craft ourselves a pick. Once we have this, we'll put this down here. We'll gain our new level, and I'm going to take this weight all the way up to 200. So the first 10 levels of my game is going to be right there. All right, so now that we've got this, I'm actually going to save this until we need it. You don't have to spend your points, and you can have some points floating for the first little bit. So I would encourage you to save a few points so where when you need something that you can actually get it instead of having to wait until your next level just to get that. But I am going to get a campfire bar over here because sometimes it gets really cold up here in the Oh, in the northeast section of the area. All right, so now we want to set our sights on a stone hatchet and a torch. A torch will also keep you a little bit warm while you're out here in the cold areas. All right, so now there are different levels of cold. And here, also remember what I was saying about the fortitude and everything? We have 0 fortitude, but since we put on the armor, we have a little bit more cold resist, 22, and a little bit more heat resist, 50. This number, if it goes up, that's good. If it goes in the negatives, that's bad. Okay, now down here on the right-hand side, you will see that we have a little snowflake. I know it is a snowflake. It may take you a second guess or a second look at it, just be like, hey, is that? No, that is a snowflake. I see what he's talking about there. Yeah, I get it. All right, this means there are 2 different levels of hot and 2 different levels of cold. If you have nothing down here, it means that you're in a regular temperature. And then it will your temperature will be heated accordingly. All right, so now if you are curious about what anything down here is, all you do is open up your inventory and click show buffs, and it will show you exactly what it is. So your food decreases faster as the ambient temperature gets lower. All right, so this is the first stage of cold. The next one will actually be an ice cube, and that means that you won't regenerate health anymore. Your food will, or your health will actually go down depending on how cold it is, and then also your food goes down much faster. So yeah, if you have that, make sure you get to a spot where you do not have that, or figure out a way to put on some armor, raise your torpor, raise your fortitude, anything you can to get through that situation that you are in. There's also the reverse of that when it comes to heat. You'll have a tiny little fireball down here, just a little tiny little flame wisp, and that means that you were overheated. And then it has the same effect as cold, but in the opposite way. And then there's another one which looks like a big huge wall of fire down here, and then that means that you're superheated. You're going to lose water, health, and it's going to be draining your food fast as well. So be careful on that. And water is one of the most precious things early game to make sure you manage. Next to a water source like this, it's not so bad. But as you start straying away from the water source, figuring out how to keep your water intact is one of those things. Sprinting actually helps drain it much faster. So I will show you a couple tricks on how to avoid that. All right, so now that we've got this, also one last thing with fortitude is anything that fortitude also works against things that have like a torpor effect on you. They give you unconscious damage instead of just regular health damage. It makes you fall asleep. Things like scorpions, tranquilizers, such like that help build up torpor, and fortitude fights against that. It makes it have a less of an effect. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's cover a few more things. So now that I'm just walking around here, you'll notice that by me just walking, that my stamina is not going down at all. Our food isn't draining fast, anything like that. But if I start sprinting and going like that, our stamina is going to go down wicked fast. And then as we are going, notice this, don't see that little lightning bolt on the side as it's going down. Now, as we go, in order to regenerate the stamina, our food and our water is going to tank really fast. So make sure early game, you only sprint when you absolutely have to. All right, because if you start sprinting all over the place and you get to a spot where 1, you're out of stamina, and then 2, you're completely drained of food, and then you see a big toothy dinosaur up ahead of you, it's going to eat you. You're not going to be able to outrun it. And even if you are able to outrun it, you'll die from starvation and lack of water just because you completely ran out of it. So early game, I would recommend only sprint when you absolutely have to. All right, let's get a little bit more of this, and so where we can start getting our hatchet up and going. Actually, I have a pick now, so we can use this. Now, there's a couple different things when it comes around to the pick and the hatchet. Do we actually have enough for this? Let's see, we need a little bit of flint. Okay, so here, let me hit up a stone. Right here, this little knob right there. All right, so now we've got this. Let's craft that. Also, we're going to craft a torch as well. I put that down in there. And put this down in here. Now, you will notice, right here, as I pop this up, the snowflake went away because it's a fire effect and it actually helps keep us warm and when it gets cold. So if you are getting a little bit cold, make sure that you have a torch on your inventory just where you can just whip that out whenever you need to, and chances are it could help you. It's not going to always help you, but chances are it could help you. All right, so now there's a couple different things when it comes around to the pick and to the hatchet. All right, so they harvest up different materials and also different ratios of materials from the same resource. So if I was to take this this pick and I was to smack this tree, I would get more thatch than I would wood. All right, but if I was to take, say, this hatchet and harvest up this piece of wood, I would get much more wood and a little bit of thatch. See, just like that. All right, and it's the opposite for the pick. Take this up, put that there, and you notice we're quickly filling up our inventory with weight, which is why I put up weight. All right, so now see this rock right here. If we were to harvest up this rock, if we were to find a rock that is harvestable, and then we smack it, if you smack it with a hatchet, you get much more stone than you do flint. But if we were to say take and smack it with a pick, you get a lot more flint than you do stone. Okay, this one's proving me wrong. But yeah, there we go. Okay. There we go. Also, you will get a little bit of metal. Now, I would recommend early game when you are harvesting up things like these little river rocks and such here. All right, that means that we learned up this first little one. So our next one would be supply crates. That's not happening. All right, so you'll notice that there is little tiny round rocks. There's not so many on this beach, but there are. Oh, these ones right here. These little round rocks have a higher density of metal in them. So early game, if you need a bunch of metal, see if you can find some of these, because chances are you're going to be able to find, see right there, we already got 3 metal in. They're not super dense metal resources, but they will give you enough to actually get started, which is wicked important. All right, so now that we've got that up and going, let's start off getting a little bit of defense, which is a spear. And then also we need to get a campfire, which means we're going to need a little bit of stone. Let's get that up and going. Also, you want to make sure that you are not crafting things as you are needing to run for your life, because crafting slows you down. As you just saw right there, we couldn't move. So yeah, well, we could move, but very, very slow. So make sure that you do not decide to start crafting something right as you hear something charging at you, because that's just going to end really badly for you. Unless, of course, you're on the back of a dinosaur and then craft away, because that doesn't deal with the dinosaur's movement, that deals with yours. So, yeah. All right, so now that we've got this, now let's see if we can go find something. I think I see something over here walking. Let's go see what this is. Now, there are different dinosaurs in this game, and each one of them has a different taming method attached to them. Like this Moschops here on the beach. Now, these guys are really good early game tames. Now, I would recommend that you walk up to it and you just take a look, see what it needs. Tintoberry, we've got those in our inventory. These are these little red ones right here. You take it, you put it on your 0 slot, and you go right there. Bam, we've already got ourselves a bird. All right, now these guys right here are actually going to be really good for harvesting and gathering up a bunch of stuff. All you do is walk up to it, and you use your left click or your attack button, and then you just gather up stuff. Now, this guy right here, he's just going to gather. See, look at how much stuff he gathered for us. It's really huge. Now, since he's such low level, he's going to start off with much lower health and much lower stats to begin with. But you can, as he levels up, you can give him a little bit more to help compensate. All right, now let's touch a little bit on some of these berries, because the different berries that you're getting in your inventory actually have a specific use. All right, the blue, the light blue, the yellow, the green, the pink, the purple. Okay, I take that back. Okay, the pink, the light blue, the red, the green, the yellow, they all have the exact same use. All right, you can eat them, and it will provide a little bit of food. Very little water, but they will provide a little bit of food. Now, you just mouse over it and eat it like that. The seeds, you can also consume the seeds for a little bit more food, but Oh, they do have a spoil timer, but they weigh a lot less than the berries. So if you have a way of seeding things, like say with an iguanodon, which is a little bit later tame, not much later, it's more of an early game tame, you can actually turn things into seeds that provide a little bit more food. Now, the purple berries, if you are to tame, say, like a herbivore, and you knock it out, the chances are it's going to want the purple berries more than any of the other berries. So where it can eat those and it can raise up and it can become your buddy. Yeah. So make sure the purple berries kind of keep a few of those just so where you can have some. You can keep it in a shoulder pet, a little tiny dinosaur that sits on your shoulder, like a monkey or a little drakeling dragon, or a bird that helps catch fish for you as well. Different shoulder pets of all sorts of different uses. This is a really cool game that has a lot of expansive mounts that you can use for all sorts of different things. You can have them on your shoulder. You can ride them. You can fly on them. Welcome to Ark. All right. I mean, it is, yeah, it's a little kid's dream. All your little kid fantasies you had on riding on dinosaurs and flying on birds up in the sky. Congratulations. This is the game for that. All right. So now the other ones, the stimberries, say if you are out in the wild and you get bit by a scorpion and you get a little bit of fortitude, this will actually drain that fortitude off of you, remove it, but also drain your water at the same time. So make sure that you do not just eat these unless you absolutely need them. Now, matter of fact, let's go like this. Let me give you a demonstration. Now, the blackberries, the purple berries, will give you torpor. They will give you 7.5 torpor per berry. Remember that number, 7.5. You will be doing math in this game. Yes, in a land of dinosaurs, you will be doing math. Congratulations. Narco berries will give you 7.5. Let's get this back to 0. Eat that. Now, as we're eating that, we will immediately eat a stimberry, and that removes it. It still keeps that going, but yeah, it removed that, and we didn't have that effect. We do have to drink water now, though. All right, so let's put this over here like that, and then let's talk about a few more things. Now, if we were going to be building stuff, what we're going to want to do is in the engrams, you will notice there are these pieces right here, the thatch foundation, stuff like that. I would recommend when you build your first base, just go thatch. It's actually really easy, and I mean, it's very destructible, and it can't really take a hit, but really all you need is some thatch ceilings, thatch door, and then also the doorway as well. Sleeping bags, this right here will give you a spawn spot. It's single use, but it will give you a spawn spot so where you can respawn if you need to. Or you could wait until you actually get a bed at level 7. Now, both of these take hide, so I would recommend that you do that. Say, if you are early game, and say like this guy right here, we want to get rid of this guy. Let's just chase this guy down. He's gonna run because most shops are cowards. And I recommend doing this on a dodo, but I don't see any dodos on this beach. But dodos are one of the easiest sources of getting early game hide. And by the way, spears break. I thought that was a dodo for a second. Where, dude? Okay, so now that he's dead, now if we were to harvest this guy up with, say, like a pick, we would get more meat than we would hide. But since we need a lot of hide, we're going to use a hatchet. Hatchets gives you much more hide than you get meat. So we're going to definitely want to lean into that and get as much hide as we can. All right, so now that we've got that, we can... Oh, we got 6 levels off of beating this guy. Levels come quick in the early game in this game. So we're going to take this weight all the way up to 200. And then now that we were here, I'm going to start working a little bit on fortitude, a little bit on health, maybe 150 stamina, and then we're going to take this health all the way up to about 450. But after I have 200 health, I have 150 stamina, I have 10 fortitude, then I'm going to lean back into weight so where I can get weight up to about 400, 450, maybe even 500. Those are the stats I would recommend. Get your weight up there a little bit, then health, then stamina, then fortitude, then work on weight again. All right, now that we've got this going, let's go like this. Let's learn these. And then also we definitely have a bed, right, which made us learn stamina. Or not made us learn stamina, made us learn the sleeping bag. So now that we've got the sleeping bag learned, now we can go like this. Now, the difference between a sleeping bag and a bed is the sleeping bag, we can just craft one up and we can just put it down right here on the floor, which is what I'm about to do. A simple bed has to be put on a foundation. So make sure that you plan accordingly. And then if you need a spot to respawn, just carry one of these around on your pocket, so where you can just take and go like that. Right, you can put it down whenever you need to, and then if you need to, you can always just pick it back up, put it back on your bar, and then if you see that you're going to encounter something that's going to be difficult, find a safe spot for you to respawn, pop this back down, there you go. All right, now that we've got that up and going, let's get some foundation stuff up and going, and let's get our first shack. All right, come here, Bert, follow me. Can't believe there's no dodos. Normally this thing is packed with dodos. All right, now we're going to go get some thatch. How much wood do I have? I've got 3. We're going to need a little bit more wood. We got that. And then also, I think we're probably going to have to get wet a little bit. All right, now another thing I would recommend is getting used to the dinosaur whistle commands, is because when you are doing this, here, let me show you. Settings. All right, get used to the whistle commands right over here on this right here. Figure out what keys you need them on, so where you make it work really well for you, because it does matter. So I'm just going to whistle this guy to go stand right there, and that will turn him off follow, everything like that. And now if you're on keyboard and you want him to follow you again, look at him and press T, and that'll make him follow you. And then if you want him to stop following you, press U. To go over like that. I'm not sure what it is on keyboard. I think you have to use the wheel, which is another reason why you need to get used to that as well. But also, make sure you set up the hotkeys so where you know exactly where to move him to. So I can just move him exactly where I want to right there. I can also turn him on to passive, which means that he's not going to attack anything that hits, or I can turn him on neutral, which means he'll defend me whenever I want to. So, yeah. Also, I can make it so where he can attack certain things as well. Make sure you get very much used to those buttons, because trust me, you will use them. Now that we've got this, we're going to craft a foundation. We're going to craft 4 walls, 1 ceiling, and we don't have enough thatch for our door. Now we can just harvest this over there. Notice how I'm moving much slower than while I'm crafting. So, yeah. Make sure you plan accordingly for that as well. All right. Also, we gained a level. Right. And when you push things down, you can raise and lower them a little bit. So you can actually make some really, really creative builds in this game. The new building system in this game is really, really good. All right, so let's put 4 walls down. And now if we are cycled over like this, and say we want a doorway, all we do is press the R key. Notice it says down below, you can press the key to cycle through. On mine is the R key, and I'm going to want a doorway. And also we're going to want a ceiling right there. And then now we just want a door. Now also, we are going to want to build a bed. We need more wood, and we need no more thatch. So let's get this up and going. Get a bunch more thatch. Any more trees? Here we go. A bed and a door. Also, while we're here, we definitely want to start looking at getting a campfire, so where we can cook some of this meat that we got from harvesting up Bert's buddy. Alright, now remember at the very beginning of the video where I said that I was going to discuss what the pull it mod does. Well, the pull it mod gives you this right here. It allows you to pull things from other things in your immediate area. Say if we've got a storage box that is filled up with azul berries, and we need azul berries, we can just pull them. And also from like Bert, say if I need 5 Zoolberries immediately from Bert. I can just grab them. Bam, we've got 5 more Zoolberries in our inventory. That's what the Pull It mod does, and I love using it, so I would recommend actually using that in this game. All right, so now that we've got the bed, we put the bed down in here. Put the doorway up there. Put this down here. And then now we can put this meat inside of here, along with this wood. Now, the campfires need a fuel source. You can use thatch, which burns much quicker, or you can use wood to fuel the campfire, although wood will also give you a byproduct, charcoal. You eventually want to get a bunch of charcoal because it's used for things like gunpowder, which you will definitely need later on in the game. But for now, we're not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to take some of my stuff. I'm going to leave Bert here, and I'm going to show you a couple things really quick to help get you situated. I'm going to use Bert as a little bit of a storage. Make sure he is on neutral, so where he can defend himself. Hold on, let's crafting. Do we have enough to actually craft a spear? We do not. We're short on wood. All right, so we've got that. Oh, I definitely want to get some bolas here. Before you go on an adventure, I would recommend... There's a few things to always have in your inventory. 1 is a spyglass. All right, 2 is bolas. 3 is a ranged weapon, like, say, a bow right here, and an arrow. All right? A defense mechanism is the bola. Also, I would recommend you have at least 1 melee weapon on you. All right, so now that we're on our way, let's see, can we actually craft some bolas? We can set this up. Do we have enough for 5 of those? We do not. We're missing thatch. Let me get some thatch here really quick. I'm probably gonna have to go swimming. All right, so now that we've got these ready to go, now we want to pay attention to see if we want to get some arrows. We want to also, let's see, let's take that from there, put 1 more of those over there. Also, if you want to split, say, a stack, all you do is hold shift on it and you drag, or you can right click on it and then split that way. If you want to just add 1 to an item, all you do is just, say if we want to take 1 of these from here, we single click on that, and then it will take just 1, but if we hold shift and we double click on that, it'll take 5 at a time. So make sure that you, yeah, there you go. Also, let's take some of this meat. Let's put this in our inventory. Now we've got cooked meat. This will actually help regenerate our health, and then also will give us more food when we need to. Now, this right here, this level of food, remember I was saying keep your food down low? This right here is how low I want my food. That way there, if I get hit, I can heal up a little bit. Now let's go like this. Fiber. Do we have any flint? Yes. All right. Let's see. Crafting. Go 1 of those and as many arrows as we can get. Now, early game, when you, like, say right now where wood is kind of scarce for me, I'm only going to craft 1 bow, but I would recommend actually have 2 bows on hand. That way there, because as the durability goes low, you can just swap bows instead of having to repair your bow on the fly. All right, so now we've got this. Bam, we've got our arrow. We've got a little bit more health. We've got some arrows. We've got some bolas. Definitely put these down here. Put this right down there. And then let me go see if I can show you. Because there is a thing called horses. And we are already level 10 or above level 10, which means we can tame horses in this spot. So let's go up here. I'm going to show you a spot where carrots spawn, which is pretty good. And you'll notice that we are way up here. No, see how big this map is? And this right here, I've only shown you this little bit of this right here. We have gone this entire bit right here. And this map is massive. Yeah, it's such a good map. All right, so let's get up here and let's go get some carrots. Kind of interested why there's so little spawns down here. All right, another good thing here in the Highlands is there are sheep or ovis. When you harvest them up, instead of regular meat, you get a thing called mutton. And mutton is one. If you're gonna tame up a carnivore early game, mutton is the best thing to give it because it's just It's better than meat. It's better than prime meat. I would recommend using mutton. But if you don't have mutton, use prime meat. And then other than that, use regular meat. I would only use regular meat in an absolute pinch, especially with the availability of the how mutton and prime meat is here in the Highlands. It's so easy to get. And now working our way up here, I'm keeping an eye out for all sorts of baddies. If I see one, I will point it out just where you know what it is. But chances are, if you look at something and you think, oh, that's going to eat me, chances are it's probably going to. You are in the land of dinosaurs. And also, right now, we've got a storm going on, which is just another way to add to the immersion. The weather effects in this game are really cool. Sometimes they're a little bit annoying because they come at just the worst time, but then again, it is a survival game, so hey. Work our way up through here. And if you need an additional vantage point, you can quickly and easily cycle between first person and third person, just where you can get that extra view distance or view. All right, and there's a pteranodon. They're not aggressive, so they're not going to come eat us. But if we attack him, he's going to flee. Okay, so here, this is what on Ragnarok we call the farm. It is located right here, just so you know exactly where it is, at 19.8, 82.8, and you'll notice latitude, longitude is down here. And then when you're telling somebody where you are, always latitude first. Always latitude first, all right? And then, so yeah, you see these little things right here? That right there means that is a carrot. That is a rock carrot. All right, now if we eat this, we get a bunch of food. But if we put it down on our 0 slot, we can use these to tame horses. And horses are probably one of the best early game tames that you could possibly get. They will help you out so much. Let's get this. Now, I'm hoping that a few horses actually spawn on my way back down to the beach, because right now it looks like there's not much spawned here in the Highlands, which is a thing that can happen. It's a brand new save. Just remember, there's going to be a lot of stuff that eventually spawns around here. Also, there are potatoes here as well. Potatoes are really good to get as well. They won't tame horses as easily, but they will give you plenty of food. So, see, these right here, I believe, are the potato. No, that's not the potato. Where are the potatoes? We gotten any? No, we haven't gotten any potatoes. Also, the seeds are really easy, really good to eat too. I mean, they don't give you nearly as much food as a regular carrot would, but it does work pretty well. It's just like regular seeds. Come here. Okay, so now that we've got 38 carrots, we've got more than enough. Okay, things are spawning. I see a Gallimimus over there. Gallimimus are very passive. They're not going to hurt you unless they have a baby around them. Now, there's a couple things you want to pay attention to. See that right there? That baby following him? The little tiny one following him? That right there is, if something were to happen to the parent, you could claim that baby and raise it as your own, which is a really cool effect, or function that they've got here in this game. So if you are early game, or you just basically want something, you can kill the parent and take the baby. Get a few more carrots for the road, just because these things spoil really fast. All right, let's go see if we can go find ourselves an Ovis on the way back down to the beach. Now I'm just gonna be heading right back down where we came. All right, also another thing is if you stumble upon something that looks like this is actually a water vein. You can drink from it. So yeah. But also in the rain, you'll notice that our water hasn't gone down at all, because apparently when it's raining like this, you can just reach up, grab a handful of water, and then just drink it. So it compensates it, and it just raises up your water whenever it rains. It's one of the best things. Also, if you have, say, a water jar in your inventory, you can fill it when it's raining. very easily just by clicking on the button that you have the water jar assigned to. All right, now I decided to come over here towards this babbling brook over here, just to see if we can find ourselves a horse. But also, one thing I wanted to point out, if you want to have a nice place that you can live without any kind of anything, the chance of anything just eating your face, if you come up here to this river or this lake up here, and then you go right inside of there, then there is a massive cave inside of there that has metal in it and everything that you can harvest, and it'll get you really well set up for the early game. It's really good, and I would thoroughly recommend, if you just want a place that's off the beach or it's hidden a little bit, go and you can live inside a cave for a little bit. I would recommend not living there forever. I mean, you could, but I would recommend not, because there's just so many cool places to base at, and wherever you base completely changes how your game is from that point on. It's really cool. And just remember that every playthrough of this game is completely unique to you. It is absolutely amazing how they did that. I mean, it's just the charm of survival games. It's awesome. All right, I'm not seeing any more horses, but there is an ovis. Let me see if we can go find a horse. All right, so we finally have an equus down here, or a horse. So what you're going to want to do, now here, let me explain a couple things, because this is a passive tame, but it's a very interactable passive tame. So you want to be very, I'm going to let you know exactly what's happening before we start taming it. All right, you want to pay attention to this bottom right-hand corner, and you want to make sure that you've got your carrots in the bottom right in the 0 slot. And when this happens, you want to walk up to it, you want to sneak up behind it, and you can crouch down so where you can get up a little bit closer to it. Get up to them. If you get up too close and you, like, touch the butt, it's going to run away. So just be very aware of that. Oh, this is a 135. Holy crap. Okay. Get up to it. Click that. Click it double again. And then see right now down the bottom right, it says effectiveness taming. Every time it stops and it rears, you're going to want to click your use button so where you can feed it a carrot. And we're just going to be constantly doing this. Let me wait until he starts rearing again, just so you can see. And he's going to be running around here in a random direction. You can't control your camera while he's doing this, so you're kind of locked in. I would recommend practicing this on a lower level one. All right, you see how that happened right there? He just started rearing up. I had to feed him a carrot, and there you go. And we're just going to rinse and repeat all the way until we hit taming 100%, and then he will be ours. Then, of course, you can get locked behind a rock like this, which is kind of what you're hoping for, so where he just doesn't move. But this will only last a little bit until the AI figures out a way for him to get moving the other way. There we go. But he'll use up his stamina just the same, so. And there we go. Now that we've got our equus, we can name it. And then now we can ride it. Now, equus, you can ride around without a saddle. I'm at level 10, but if you want a little bit of extra for the horse itself, you can get a saddle at level 20. Now, the saddle actually works like a mortar and pestle on its back, so where you can craft up all sorts of things that a mortar and pestle could do, like narcotics, which you will definitely need later on. So I would recommend getting a saddle put on it as soon as you can. But now we've got a horse that we can use, we can ride, and we can use our little buddy. Now, it has a couple things. It's got an attack that you can do with left click. It's got a right click attack that actually puts torpor onto things. It kicks them in the face, and it knocks them out. It makes them go unconscious. But this guy will help us out quite a bit in our adventures, and we are already off to an amazing start in this game. So, yeah. All right. It's a shame, though, there's no dodos. Normally, there's dodos all over here. But yeah, there are hundreds of different dinosaurs in this game that you can tame. There are all sorts of different things. And also, just so you know, just so you're aware, every creature in this game is called a dinosaur. It's called a dino. Not really a dinosaur, but it's a dino. Yes, just to avoid any confusion. People will tell you that it's not because that's a horse and it's clearly a horse. It's a dino. It's a dino. That's just, be used to it. So, yeah. All right. But yeah, other than that. All right. So, hey, I hope this video helps you out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate it. If you're new around here, subscribe for more tutorials and also for playthroughs where I cover all sorts of different stuff on the channel. And yeah, until next time, this is Phlinger, and take it easy, everybody. And best of luck in Ark. It's such a good game. Take it easy, everyone. And now the dodos have spawned. Yep, those are dodos. Use those for early game hide and meat. Yeah. And then also, if you see a dead shark along the beach or a dead whale, harvest it up for spoiled meat, hide, and oil. They're really, really good.